The actual truth is that Crivel started because my salary wasn't enough. And it didn't start from Crivel. It started from retail. It was good money, I was enjoying it, but the way money is, you want more. That I found that you could make watches for as low as 50 cents. 50 cents. A whole watch. My name is Babatunde Awe. I'm the founder / creative director of Crivel Watches. Crivel Watches is a Nigerian-owned wristwatch brand. We've been producing and distributing watches for about 6 years now. Crivel Watches started in 2019, and since then we've sold about 4,000 watches across the continent and the world, actually, because of it. My childhood was charted by a father who worked a corporate life all through. What I get from that is someone who dresses nice, who looks good, and what I always noticed in his outfits were his watches always stands out. At a few occasions, I have to borrow some of them when I grew up, when I grew a little older. You know, on the other side, my mom grew from working a 9 to 5 with an FMCG, and then, you know, transitioned into like fashion and fashion accessories. From a very young age, I already saw what the business of fashion was like. I'd never worked anywhere before, and boom, you know, my NYC first posting took me straight to a bank. So for me, it was learning all the way from the start to the end. I mean, my mentor at the time, who was ultimately my supervisor, said a few things to me, and one of the things that stood out was, you're just starting. There's no question that you can ask that is stupid. It's when you spend 2-3 years on this job and then you still ask questions that you should have known or gotten answers to in your first year, that's when you look stupid. So feel free, ask anything you want to know. And I think that's the same thing with when I started the brand as well. I had to dedicate about 2 years to asking questions. My banking experience spanned 11 years, and I learned so many things. My first year of banking, I'm learning how to be the corporate guy, the 9 to 5er who, you know, follows orders, who, you know, takes instructions, who learns from people. 2-3 years after, I'm thinking, how do I make this place a better place? How do I, you know, take what it is that I've learned while in this bank and take, you know, my past experiences and then mold something for this institution? How do I give more? Now, Crivel is, we look at it as an SME, right, for now. And then it's growing to the small corporate and the large corporate. The idea is to take all that experience, everything that was learned, and then build something that will stand the test of time, basically. The truth, the actual truth, is that Crivel started because my salary wasn't enough. And it didn't start from Crivel. It started from retail. I also like to shop. I always used to buy watches. I used to buy tons of watches. I was shopping online one day and I saw a watch, decently priced, very nice, very shiny wristwatch. And then I ordered it. And when the watch came, well, that's not bad for this price. It makes sense. You know, I'm looking at the watch, admiring it, and then light bulb moments. If I like this watch this much and I feel like the price isn't bad, I'm sure somebody will buy it from me at a higher price. So I reach out to the company, you know, requests to be a wholesaler, which was granted. And then I found out that the watches could even be cheaper. I was like, okay, here's the business. So I started that out. In about 2 to 3 weeks, my first order came in. I sold about 70 watches over the next 1 week. And I saw that there's really something here because they were very affordable. Truth be told, the quality wasn't the greatest, but also you know what you're buying for the price point. And I did that for a few months. It was good money, I was enjoying it, but the way money is, you want more. So I tried to be a regional distributor for the company, and that was denied. I tried to be a local distributor for the company. They also denied it because I just wanted a situation where somebody isn't pushing me out of markets with more money. I'm operating with a small percentage. And when that was denied, I had another light bulb moment. If this company can be producing these watches at a certain price and selling to me at this price, they must be making at least 2x. Start your research and see how much it will take to produce watches. And it was an interesting point. I don't know if I'm allowed to give all the information here, but it was very, very interesting that I found that you could make watches for as low as 50 cents, a whole watch. They won't be the greatest quality. They won't be, perfect, but you could make a watch for 50 cents, believe it or not. That research led me to see there are different grades to everything, there are different quality points. And being the kind of person that I am, or I was at the time, I would only go for something of higher grade. So we started production. I looked into it fully. We started production. I got my first samples a couple months after. And then, after 2 years of testing and producing and trying out new things, I got the first batch of products in January 2019. And that was 700 watches, by the way. And by March the next year, we had to produce again, which meant that we were sold out in less than a year. I mean, not fully sold out, but we had to reproduce, to keep up with the demand that we were getting. Funding didn't start from, a huge amount. It started from, I purchased a few watches at, if you remember, it was a lower price. And I offered it to my friends first, because I see that if you have a business and your direct ecosystem, which includes your friends, cannot buy or patronize that business, the chances of scaling become harder. Not that they're impossible, it just becomes harder. So what I did was I guilt-tripped all my friends to get in at least one piece. Not all of them did, but you would succeed with a good percentage. Once again, 80-20 rule coming into play. These are things that we learn, in banking or in the corporate world. Let's say 20% of those ordered it. I had my family as well. I gave everybody targets, go and sell a watch. My mom, sold a few. My wife sold a few. It was, everybody just bringing in their own quota. Obviously, I didn't share the money with anybody afterwards, but, When it came to production, I went into it blindly. Production for Crivel, that is. I went into it blindly. And I say blindly because I was a long way from the final amount I needed for production. Like, we're required to drop a percentage for production, and that amount was provided. I didn't know where the rest of the money was going to come from, but I just wanted production to start. When the time came, once again, I went back to the family and I said, for our business to start, you all need to contribute, and they were helpful. They were helpful. So that really handled my funding. I pulled funds from the business before, and then family balanced it out. Was it scary? It was. It was very scary making that transition or decision to fully entrepreneurial, because managing it a 9 to 5 and a side hustle means you're earning more. And then when you stop one that is supposedly your stable income and you decide to face something else, because entrepreneurship is not going to face one business. Yes, Crivel is, a business. It's one that I focus on, but there are a few other things that I had to dabble into to balance out what the income situation is, or was, and allow things grow moving forward. So yeah, it was scary because you're entering uncharted waters. You're always thinking, what if people aren't buying what it is that I'm offering? What if the interest levels change? Because when you start a business, you have a lot of people who want to support you, but then that support can die down. Then who do you sell to? Who do you talk to? Who do you get advice from? Where do you go from here? All those questions start to hit you. So before I got into that point, I asked myself all those questions, and it didn't feel as scary as it initially felt. And that was enough for me to take that leap into entrepreneurship. I mean, the most important thing I learned about in this world is that you're now responsible for other people. You're responsible for other families. You're charting a business that's supposed to generate income to then pay individuals who are taking care of families. Failure kind of means those people don't earn a living, they don't take care of their families. I mean, I know what it's like for me taking care of my family, and I can only imagine what it's like for someone who is earning from what it is that you're doing to take care of the family. Giving up? Nah. It's never really been an option for me. I mean, we've had turbulent seasons, ups and downs will always come, but the thought of giving up never crosses my mind. It's something that I enjoy doing. I like being, involved in a lot of things, doing things that give me a sense of achievement. So giving up is never really been something that crossed my mind. Do I get tired? Maybe. But if you get tired, you rest and get back to it. Juggling a 9 to 5 and side hustle, to be honest, entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. It's suggested to some. Your side hustle can always be your side hustle for life. It doesn't have to be your main thing. However, when you study what it is that you're doing and look at the returns you're getting, I think that should, inform your decision to whether it's worth, leaving your 9 to 5 for the side hustle. I think I made the decision because I believed that I started something special. I know there are a few other watch brands, but I believe that I had come up with something that I could call first of its kind, also best of its kind. And that's why I made the decision. So I don't think everybody should consider, turning the side hustle into a main hustle. A lot of people need to balance these things out. My advice would be, do your analysis before you make any decision. Why didn't you start earlier? If you started earlier, there are a lot of things you wouldn't have learned, which you picked up from your corporate space. Setting up a business, people management, finance, leadership. There's just so much that needs to be unpacked. For Crivel at the moment, the immediate next step is to start producing automatic watches. That is already on the way. We're currently in design phase, and we're moving swiftly because I wanted to, meet the festive season. The next chapters will be international outlets. We're trying to reach out to a wider audience by providing, physical outlets on different continents. It might take a bit, but it's something that's already in the works, and we hope to get there soon.